To order. This is a work session of the Mayor and Borough Council of the Borough of Seaside Park, County of Ocean, State of New Jersey, held on Thursday, September 5th, 2024, advertised for 7 p.m. Pursuant to the provisions of New Jersey's Open Public Meetings Act, adequate notice of this meeting was properly provided by transmitting the notice of the meeting for publication in the Asbury Park Press on the Star Ledger on January 5th, 2024. Notice of the meeting of the governing body has also been posted in the corridor of the municipal building and in the office of the municipal clerk. Roll call.
Councilmember Amabile?
Here.
Councilmember Condos?
Here.
Councilmember Connor?
Here.
Councilmember Kraft?
Here.
Councilmember Rotunda?
Here.
Council President Wilk?
Here.
Mayor Pearson?
Here.
Thank you.
The first item on the agenda is a very special event, a special honor where we give thanks and recognition to a special person, as well as her family. And it's a mayoral proclamation, but obviously it's not just from the mayor, it's from the entire governing body, and even more to the point, it's from the entire community. Past governing body members, all the members of Seaside Park, whether they're summer residents, visitors, permanent residents, everybody joins in this proclamation. So it's my honor to, if we could have come forward. She doesn't like to come forward, but Carol, if you could come forward.
Yes, thanks. Oh my God.
Oh, you're doing good. And as everybody knows, Carol and her family have donated literally thousands of hours and years to the Borough of Seaside Park. And this is an honor that came about because of your decision to end your employment with the town. And it has been a long time, but coupled with that employment is literally many, many, many years of volunteer work, not employment, and you do that on the side, and have always been a great friend to all of us and to everyone in Seaside Park, along, of course, with Paul, who's here with us, with Paulie, with Johnny, everybody in the family, and we all thank you very, very much. And as those of you know, and I'm sure everyone does know, we had a recent a luncheon of celebrating Carol's retirement, and this is a formal proclamation from the governing body and from the town. And it says, in recognition of Carol Wroblewski's service to the Borough of Seaside Park, whereas Carol Wroblewski has faithfully served the Borough of Seaside Park for 36 years as a keyboarding clerk one, and then as a technical assistant in the construction official, and whereas Carol Wroblewski is an invaluable member of our community as evidenced by her selfless devotion and extensive volunteer work over the years, and whereas Carol Wroblewski has served with the Triborough First Aid Squad and the Seaside Park Volunteer Fire Company Ladies Auxiliary, and has achieved life member status with both organizations, and whereas Carol Wroblewski has supported the police department and the Office of Emergency Management by volunteering as an auxiliary police officer, a police matron, and a member of the Office of Emergency Management team, and whereas Carol Wroblewski has also provided assistance with a free rabies clinic hosted by the borough to offer free rabies vaccinations and to promote safe pet ownership, and whereas Carol Wroblewski was a charter member of the Garden Club, and whereas Carol Wroblewski's hard work and unwavering passion and dedication to the Borough of Seaside Park has earned her the respect and admiration of her peers and the sincerest appreciation and gratitude from not only the governing body, but the community. And now, therefore, I, Johnny Peterson, Jr., Mayor of the Borough of Seaside Park, on behalf of the Borough Council and the citizens of the Borough of Seaside Park, do hereby present this proclamation to Carol Wroblewski in honor and recognition of her faithful and dedicated service to the Borough of Seaside Park, with all our best wishes for continued success and happiness in the future.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
Yeah, oh,
I
good
can tell
to
you
see Matt.
stories, but I don't.
No, well, Cindy's did a lot of the research. And along with Jeff,
there.
with Jeff, and
So there you go.
it was a-
Well, thank you all very much. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Carol.
Thank you,
Carol.
Carol. Write a journal and I'll tell you all my stories.
All right, okay.
Maybe that's time to
write a book. All right.
Oh, what? Oh, okay. With your Acme shirt.
Okay, all right.
John, hold the plaque facing. Damn, girl, you did a lot.
The next item is for information purposes, and I don't have it right, but yes, I do.
It's on that.
There it goes.
It's on that,
I've
yeah.
got it.
You got it.
This has come to us through Jeff Potter has done the legwork on this for the softball league, and it also has entailed input from all the borough family, and that includes Eric has been on board, and Karen is aware of this as well. A joint effort. It's not to any cost to the borough at all, but it entails moving, those of you who know the stone plaque that's down by the ball field now that was dedicated to Uncle Mo Levine, who goes back, I guess, before all our days, in the 50s, it was dedicated to him. He was I read all the articles about him, a worker for recreation up and down the island, and lived in Seaside Park, and that plaque is dedicated to him down there, that stone monument. And the Seaside Park Softball League wants to move that one. I don't know the measure, 6 inches over. It's enough to have a second plaque right next to it. It says, dedicated to the memory of all that played the game at Uncle Mo Levine Field. And I'd give my best playing days to play ball here one more time. And it's dedicated, I guess it was triggered by a lot of longtime members that had passed away this last year, and that triggered all the research that Jeff Potter was doing, and he just wanted to have everyone okay with this or be aware of it, and I think he's planning to do it for next season.
Yeah, it's nice.
Not for the fall league season, but that's the
That's nice.
color chart.
Very nice, very nice.
The next item on the agenda is for information purposes, and I had received this letter with some charts, information from the chair of the Bayfront Advisory Committee, Chuck Appleby, and I wanted everyone to have that, and that came about as a result of the public roundtable work session meeting that the governing body had with the public and with the Bayfront Committee, and the focus of that meeting talked about various proposals, the status of proposals, and other ideas and suggestions concerning mitigation actions that might be engaged in, and some are already ongoing with the town. And then I acknowledged the letter back to Chuck, and even in the gap of time between our meeting where we had the public meeting and when the letter came, we'd already had, I think, several more meetings, and I know Karen was here, our administrator, Marty was here at the meeting, not here, we were at Tom's River, met with the Ocean County representatives. We had the county engineer, the assistant county engineer, and the staff reviewing the various proposals and looking for Ocean County's support and also Ocean County's joint funding, because all our efforts impact a county road, and more to the point, anything that we do is preserving and protecting a county road along with the other infrastructure, including New Jersey Natural Gas, their new line that came in post-Sandy, and the other areas of infrastructure. The other meeting that occurred right thereafter, I believe last week, was the county was going to put on its agenda in a meeting with the higher-ups in NJDOT, and they have not reported back to us the results of that, but this was going to be added to their agenda, that the NJDOT give all consideration to Seaside Park's request, in particular for the tie-ins that were suggested by the council, by the Bayfront Committee, and by others. Their preliminary reaction initially was the same as they had done in the past, but I believe that they're now looking at it further, and now they have the county applying pressure, so hopefully that may change their decision-making. So I don't know if anybody on the council has any questions, comments. It's a lengthy letter, and there's some follow-up suggestions, ideas for some other work or research. I know some of that is ongoing, and the Ocean County was doing some of it as well.
Yeah, it's quite a list of things that, we're looking for that, would be valued information that will help us proceed, I guess, towards this, mitigation problem that we have with the flooding on the Bayside.
And there's an upcoming meeting, I believe, next week of the mayor's committee that also entails the consortium that Seaside Park was the first member of, and all the towns have been sending their mayors and a lot of staff members to our past meetings. One exception, I don't know, maybe they're supposedly on board, and I believe the check was paid, the $5,000 payment. I have not seen the actual resolution yet passed by Tom's River, but we were told, and at the table, several mayors initiated cell phone calls to the mayor, and hopefully that will move that forward, because obviously we need the county seat, have the one of the bigger municipalities, obviously, to have them on board as well.
Is that Commissioner Segeki?
He's been very active at the meetings, yeah.
That he had before.
Yeah, he's been there. We had two commissioners at the meetings. Yeah.
So Mayor, I guess one question, I read through all of it, but I guess, so, the fact, I guess, Marty, you've been the representative for the council, right, with this, like, as you guys take this and you're saying to the county, I know as I read through the stuff, that they're saying, residents want, everybody's been asking for, are we proposing that there'll be like regular, like, that the council and you would be given regular updates rather than the committee, like the committee's making the suggestions, right, and RVE is ultimately who we've hired to do the work, but do we have to give status? I guess it's more of a question. Like, are we gonna give like regular status against these? We don't have to answer it tonight, but I mean, I think that's, sound like part of the request is that there's like regular status given or some kind of communication that continues beyond that one meeting that we had. I guess, something to take back. I don't know if it's you, I didn't mean to put you on the spot, but it said that you met with Mayor and Karen and them, so somebody, I think someone has to be
Yeah,
the
no, I think the
spokesperson beyond the
more
committee.
exchange of ideas
Yeah.
and dialogue, the better. The more people are aware of the status of all the different proposals. And there is the other project is on the agenda this evening as well, the initial project. But I wish I had something more concrete to report from the county, that they haven't gotten back to that. Karen has, I haven't had any, as a result of their meeting. I think we were, I don't know, I guess it was, I don't know if it's public or not, the engineer may be retiring, but the assistant, who is going to be promoted to that position, has been at all the meetings with us also, so we have both of them.
Okay.
Mark Jenke is there, and the current engineer is John Ernst. The next item is discussion as to a bond ordinance, and it entails the 17 block plus portion of the boardwalk and the funding related thereto. And our bond counsel, Bill Mayer of the Dakotas law firm, has been instrumental in putting together that paperwork. And that is for discussion purposes. At this juncture, as the iBank, we were awarded the $12,300,000 full amount asked for, which I don't know, I can turn over to Karen, maybe some details. I know there, and Bill is obviously knows this backwards and forwards, so I don't want to misstate something. There's 50%, if you could, which is the low interest, and 50% goes to
zero.
forgiveness? Yeah,
No,
to zero interest.
zero. I don't believe that forgiveness is part of this one.
Not with the iBank Transportation Bank. It is with the Water Bank, but not with the transportation side.
This project, it's
Yeah.
just 50% zero interest,
Mhm.
and the other 50% would be market.
And they sort of hold the door open. They've said there's past precedent in the state history where they've changed some of these programs and have had forgiveness.
That's
but
true.
They weren't making any guarantees.
And it's on what you use.
Yeah.
Not the total, and it's what you use. It's like we said before, it's like a home equity pool, joint
Yeah.
home equity, and it's what you use.
I mean, the total amount is like 12.3 million, and that's based on the engineer's estimate that we got when we applied for the grant a year ago. How we plan, or what the bond ordinance is about, is to provide notes or bond anticipation notes. And that's not that we're going to do 12.3 million all at once. It's going to be done from time to time as needed in order to accomplish the reconstruction of the 17 blocks. At some point, the bonds will then be changed over, and we will then get the money from the New Jersey Infrastructure Bank. The bonds issued will be good for, we have to pay it off within 31 years whenever we do the bonds. And the borough engineer is certified that the project lifespan is 30 years, so we're good there. Any grant money that we receive along the line, such as you indicated that we might get, would be directly applied to the project, or it can also be applied to payment of the notes and bond obligations. I guess what's also listed here is tentatively the first reading for this bond ordinance, if we decide to proceed, will be held September 19th. The final one would then be on October 3rd after public hearing. So anything to add?
No, the only thing I would add is, so we have been qualified by the iBank for this loan, and they're just waiting for us for a commitment.
Yeah, it's not as though we have to go find the loan, we have it all arranged. In order to borrow any money, we have to put in place this bond ordinance. So that's what this is for. And that's all I have there.
Thank you, Bill. Thanks for all the work on this. Does anyone know, have we gotten anything from the engineer's office or otherwise through CAFRA yet? We haven't, there's an application that we filed for the CAFRA permit.
We have not received it
We
yet.
haven't, we went ahead with that.
Yeah, I think I don't know, it was either 3 or 6 months is usually the time it takes to get a CAFRA
It
permit.
does take a while, and we're still going through some machinations with DEP in terms of where we have to move the some of the ramps so they can become handicap accessible.
Yeah.
In terms of, dune enhancement and native plantings we'll have to put in place and some of the stand that we disturbed. So we're going through that with DEP right now.
Okay.
Thank you.
Anything else on that one? This was discussed at the budget hearing, or budget prep this year, and I believe last year it came up as well. Discussion of quotes to update security camera system from BSafe Security, and that entity provides the security at the present time already. And they have, that quote's dated August 20th for the Borough Hall, the Police Department, DPW Garage. That's listed for consideration. It's a resolution 2024-278 at the regular meeting this evening. Karen, you want to summarize any?
Yeah, I just did, our current equipment, currently DPW doesn't have any security cameras, and the current equipment at Borough Hall is analog. And the way we found that out is there was an incident in front of Borough Hall about a year and a couple months ago, and we went to go look at the video footage, and you couldn't even make out anything on it. That's when I learned that this equipment is analog. It's 12, 15 years old. And that's why we budgeted for it in 2024.
Yeah, it's in the capital budget, and I think we had some 40-some thousand
44, I
overall
think.
for
Yeah,
for the
44.
security
Yep.
cameras, so we're well within that number.
And we did get 3 quotes, and this was the most favorable. What was your question?
I was gonna say, you had mentioned too up by like beach control headquarters at one point. Is that in scope for this, or that would be something separate?
That'll be next year, because in
Okay.
order to keep it under,
The number?
yeah,
Okay.
we had to just.
I know we had talked about it, I just didn't know if that
Mhm.
was in this. Okay.
Yeah, we got a quote for beach control and 2 of the wells.
Okay.
Anything else on that one? The next item is discussion. There's a proposal from the American Littoral Society, and that entails modification of the SAB mitigation plan. That's listed for consideration, Resolution 2024-279, this evening as well, that follows up on the prior discussion. That American Littoral Society's focus is on living shorelines. They rarely, I don't think they ever provide any active help to municipalities or otherwise for any hardscapes, like bulkheading, steel
Yeah.
barriers.
Right.
That's not their philosophy, but they work in a number of areas with living shorelines, and they're our consultants and partners along with Stockton University and the engineering group as to the Living Shoreline project, which had been stalled, and they had the most recent Zoom meeting platform with the Army Corps people and laid out some proposals. They weren't necessarily as specific as we liked, and that's why we have a consultant who was on the line with us at the most recent meeting. Karen participated, and the Council President Wilk, and we had all the consultants in our team on the line addressing the Army Corps in particular, and they were going to take that back to the Army Corps. And the frustrations with our consultant are that we're right in the very tail end of the growing season for SAB, where Dr. Bologna could do a realistic survey, and without these specific direction from the Army Corps, they really can't do that survey at this moment because we don't have with specificity what they're going to ultimately require. They have changed, and that's part of the problem with them. But they've given some more positive vibes recently. That's they were not on the call. That was just an internal of our team. So that's kind of where it is right now. Stockton was very insistent. I don't think you can verbally with sticking with the oyster reef and having volunteers of the community participating in school groups, and also keeping that as a wave attenuation aspect of the project. And the Army Corps was attempting, without everyone agreed, adequate scientific background, they were attempting to say, why don't you proceed with the living shoreline without a wave attenuation component, such as the oyster reef or some barricade, and everyone agreed that was unrealistic and would be almost doomed to failure. So I think they're, Stockton in particular was taking the lead of giving them some input on that. Anyone else on that? That's on for consideration at the regular meeting too, the resolution.
I guess to my same comments before, I just feel like we keep authorizing more money for different studies, but I don't know where we see like where they read out then what they're finding and how these all add up, right? So like we did the ones for Stockton, I should have brought it, but you know, the other ones that we've approved in the past, I mean, individually, they're not significant investments dollar-wise, but I think collectively, every time I hear us doing this, I'm like, okay, so how does this play into that bigger plan? And that's why I was kind of asking the question before. It's like, I know we had the Bayfront Committee, and then we had everything that RVE presented, which I think was really good. I just think we still have to plug the holes of saying, okay, so this is what we did, this is what we expect to get from it. And, you know, I've offered to help, I just don't know who to help. So that we have that. I just think it's still confusing to people. I know it's confusing to me, and I get to sit through listening to some of it. So, I mean, I'm not opposed to spending the $13,000, and it says like one of their tasks is to do a readout. I just don't know when that is, and if we've had any of the other ones. Like, I haven't seen what Stockton did.
Excuse me, Count, what are we gonna get for our $13,000?
Well, you're gonna get what they put on this
We're gonna
proposal.
get revision, they want $4,800. City coordinator, they want $4,300. Project coordinator, $2,600. When does it end? Or it never ends? When's it end? When's it end? It never ends.
Well, hopefully it ends when you get a plan that we can implement.
That's right, yeah.
That's the goal, right, that it
This is
ends
the-
then, but I guess I just want
2
to make
years
sure
now,
that these
at least.
investments are
2 years now.
driving to that goal, I guess. And that they're all coordinated and not individual efforts that have different agendas, because, you know, I think some of these organizations have their own agenda, so they're in conflict with one another. But I'm not, you know, I'm not a expert, I'm just
Neither am I.
observing, so.
But the mayor said they don't help with the wall, he's just gonna give us the natural barrier, the living shoreline, yeah. They're not gonna tell you which way to go with the wall, maybe turn it over here, or they don't tell you that, just the living shoreline.
Yeah, their focus is the bay, not landward.
Yeah, our focus is to
That's
stop.
not their area of expertise.
Right, that's true, but our focus is to stop the water from coming in, that's our focus.
If we get both plans approved, hopefully that works, but,
Yeah, we hope.
yeah.
Okay.
That's why
Thank you,
I'm
Mr.
proceeding
Mayor.
down this way.
The next item for information came in terms of a cover letter from Michael Blandina, the parade chairman, Ocean County Columbus Day Parade, and that is to be held this year, October 13th, on the boulevard. And the staging area and the beginning of the parade obviously are in Seaside Park, and they reference special guests from Italy and others helping to join the celebration, and they make reference as well to an event to be held September 14th at Carrabba's Italian Grill. There's a flyer on the back of that, a fundraiser, gift auction, Elks Lodge at Brick, with raffles, tickets. It has information how to participate. Anyone have any on that?
I just want to add, if any governing body members want to walk in the parade, thanks to the kindness of Sue Masorley, they're all very nice
Did
new
they come in?
sashes.
I remember.
She dropped them off this week.
She did. That was great.
They come in?
Yeah,
She promised them.
yes, yep, they're really nice. She did a very nice job.
That's nice.
Ah.
Mhm.
Well, tell her thank you very much.
Yeah.
Well, she'll be watching the parade, so we can go over and thank her.
You don't have to
She's
wear-
always on the
I don't have to
side.
wear that paper hat anymore. Well, she watched the last parade for letters, I had to keep sticking
Yeah,
around,
I know.
they were falling on my toe, they were all over the
It
place.
didn't work too well.
No, it didn't, they fell off. So, thank you, Sue.
And speaking of Sue, I didn't, it's not on the agenda, but she'd written a letter about native plantings. I gave it to everybody, so you had it for information purposes. And
Yeah.
those were the items that I had on the written agenda. Anyone else on council have anything at this juncture? I know there's a couple issues out there that working with, but I don't know that we've given the attorney any notice about work, but. No, we're working for future meetings about the beach badge, the
Seals.
old beach badges. And that's,
Oh,
so
the
that
old
one,
beach badge.
that one's not quite ripe for going on an agenda, but everybody seemed enthusiastic.
We met about that.
Yeah.
Yes, we have, and we decided what we're gonna do.
We met about that and about 5 other items.
Are people contemplating using them for art projects or making something out of it? I don't know what they,
Some people are collectors, they, you know.
you look online, there are people, the old ones get a little
I'm sorry,
couple
you're not-
bucks.
you're
I
not-
don't know about the new ones.
I'm putting Joe on the spot, he brought, at our meeting, he
Thank you, Ray.
brought the counterfeit ones. You can't believe
Yeah, I
how
mean,
the
that's always a
counterfeit.
concern. We brought that up, we beat that up for about half an hour.
How they counterfeit these things.
But we,
Very difficult to do.
yes, we'll have to
The new ones.
continue to look at that. I mean, I don't think it's like a, just forget about it. but,
No.
yeah. I think we have some things we can talk about to make it palatable for us to be able to do that in some fashion. Yeah, but that was a concern I had to bring up. yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the ones you showed us, man, one looked real good.
I mean, it's easy to, as long as we do our due diligence every year with the shapes of the badges and keep doing that and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. The hologram on it helps out. There's a lot of things, you know, like we had talked about what happens if somebody comes in and goes, oh, give me 250, you know, just things like that, just bringing up discussion items that we had at the meeting to talk about. So I think we have a lot of food for thought. I think we've gotten to a lot of common ground with a lot of the things there. We have to determine price and maybe, you know, how many each person might take or whatever, but I think it's palatable for us to be able to do it. Yeah,
Well,
in some
Yeah,
fashion.
one per person.
thanks for all the committee's hard work. That's where a lot of the digging in the trenches, the hard work is done, is really the committee work. Those are the items that I had on the agenda. Anyone else have anything at this juncture? If not, we'll go into the audience. If any public comment on work session items, if anyone has them, if they could give their name and address into the record. I should move the mic
You
back.
want me to come up?
You can't, I'll put the mic back where it was.
For Mike, Mike's Mike,
The mic.
Put the mic for Mike.
Mike for Mike.
That's it.
Is it on?
There you go.
It's not,
Is it on?
If it's not on, if you hold it, if you press and hold.
Well, the big
can
and
hear
small
you.
enough that I think everyone can hear me. Mike Spadafino, 59th Avenue. I believe that at this point in juncture in time, I think I'm protocol that I have to state that I'm a council candidate when I speak to the council. All I want to know is, maybe Chuck can jive in on this, what exactly is entailed in what they are terming living shoreline? What's involved in that? It sounds like it can be vast or it can be just a little thing. Does anybody know what's involved in a living shoreline? What's all the parts? Is it just oysters? Is it seaweed? Is it sand? Is it crabs? What is it?
I think it starts out as a building something in a concept, and then you construct it, and the failure rate is very, very high because it's man-made, and you try to make a living shoreline. And then you generate an ecosystem over time. And the debate is whether by just putting the oyster shells in, having oyster beds, will that promote enough to have the full ecosystem necessary for a living shoreline or not? And that's been the debate in Barnegat Bay of late, or recent thing.
Right, yeah.
And whether the success rate is something that's to invest in or not invest in, and whether it's viable.
Right.
And that's the one where it's man-made living shoreline, right? And then we have the other issue of the subaquatic vegetation, which again, it's out there, but it's died off quite a bit over the years, and the Corps of Engineers is hung up on that, on what that is, and that gets into Gina's question, I think, of the assessments that we pay for. Every project has a little bit done. Even the pump stations did a subaquatic vegetation survey for their impacted area, and one of the recommendations the committee made was to make sure you compile all this information and keep it long-term in a living document. And you see what the shoreline is. It's all underwater, so nobody knows what it's actually like unless you do studies. So you need to combine everything, and then you get your living shoreline. Right now, they say it's not living enough in some areas, and we want to augment it, and they're debating on whether what we're planning to augment it with is satisfactory.
Right, and there's just a follow-up question, I'm sorry, it's more to him than that. With the oyster bed concept, it's been done in other places, right?
It's been done, and the most recent surveys are, people are evaluating the data, and some is positive, some is negative. So the jury's out is the way I look at it.
Right.
And you hope that the DEP, with their experts and the Corps, that they can come up and say, this works, this doesn't work. And maybe putting it where the nuclear power plant used to be down here, maybe that's different than here. So you need to put some gray matter into it and think about it. And, you know, it's very difficult to do. It's like building a wetland or something. It's very difficult.
The other part of my question, though, is actually what I heard Ray, but I didn't hear what Ray said. What are we getting for that $13,000 that,
It's listed in the thing. What they're gonna, it's listed in the,
I don't think so.
what they're gonna do.
They don't have the
The
packet.
money.
They don't have, it's in our packet.
I'm sorry,
Right,
not that.
It's in our packet.
Oh, it's in our packet, I'm sorry.
so can you tell me what we're investing $13,000 to get, which is what Ray's in that question?
Yeah, I mean, there's four things that they have in here. One's the SAB mitigation plan revision, so revising it based on the comments from New Jersey DEP, NOAA, et cetera. Second one is continued agency coordination. They'll continue to correspond with regulators, regarding our permitting, and the SAB mitigation plan. The third one is project coordination related to meetings and correspondence with partners to ensure project completion and internal management. And then the final one was the society will attend or organize public meetings, will inform the public of project status and garner further public support and buy-in. So those are the four tasks.
Thank you.
Any other public comments on work session items, Edie?
Edie Klein, 48 11th Avenue. I just want to follow along with what Gina had alluded to or asked for, and that is continuing to inform the residents of the whole Bay issue and the plans and the mitigation and the changes to the mitigation. Can some definite plan of action be outlined? For example, and I'm just using this to make a point, would be something on the website, like Bay updates, and for example, this resolution if passed could be there. When we hear from the Little Society, that could be there, because let's face it, most people don't come to these meetings. And how are they going to know as these steps go on versus a one every, I don't know, 3-month meeting, and then everybody's like in an uproar because they haven't really known what's been going on as the process goes on. So I would ask the council to consider some way of providing updates. For another example, the letter that you received from the Bayfront Committee, I would assume that's public knowledge, public information, is that correct?
I think so.
I would think so.
Yes.
Okay, how about that be posted, so that people know what the committee is thinking about and what their suggestions are, or proposed solutions, or changes to solutions, or whatever. I mean, I know I can open that document, but, you know, people in town aren't going to do that. And I just think that it would be to everybody's benefit, especially you folks and the people in the Bayfront Committee, rather than when you have the next big meeting and then, you know, you have all these. So that's my suggestion.
Okay, thank you.
Any other public comments on work session items? Yes, Chuck?
Chuck Appleby, 215 10th Avenue. Regarding the Bayfront Committee, so one of the recommendations was that it's a public meeting. So the committee members, we discussed it, we're more than happy to assist if the council wanted us or the mayor to assist in putting a public meeting together or something like that. Because one of the things we did hear was people wanted to have a little more information and up to date and things like that. Even though you don't have answers and solutions to everything, it's just being out there and doing something. That was one of the comments. And the number 5 was, I think, addressed Gina's comment, and we saw that there's a lot of pieces of information, trying to keep them together. And the other one that was interesting, I wanted to emphasize, was the fact that in January, we had like the most significant flood that we had since Sandy, and that's what started a lot of this. So the season's coming back, you know, we're gonna have more high tides and things like that. So, you know, this isn't going away. So that's why we need to try to keep it motivated, we keep it going. And the committee's more than happy to meet and attend things. And I just retired, so I have some more time, except I'm going away for November, so.
Sure.
I'll be in Australia, but that's besides the point. But, you know, we're more than happy to give our expertise. There's some really good people on the committee and everything like that. And I did think the public meeting went well, and I didn't put it in here, but our committee people have heard from a lot of the citizens in town, the residents, and it was a lot of positive information back. So I thought that was good. It was a good first step. Thank you.
Thank you, Chuck. Yes, Shirley?
Shirley Kressel, 700 North Bayview Avenue. I know you've referred to that meeting when they were here discussing, and Pam was here, as a public meeting. Well, there was very few of us here because not many people knew about it. A public meeting is when it's announced and all the Bayfront people and everybody in town would be made aware. That was not how that meeting was. If you keep referring to a public meeting, yes, those in the public in attendance voiced. But a public meeting is when everybody is notified and everybody comes and speaks. Thank you.
Any other public comments on work session? Hearing none, I would entertain a motion to close the work session, take a brief moment, and then begin our regular meeting. Motion by Councilmember Rotundo, second by Councilmember Kraft. Anyone opposed? If not, we'll stand adjourned for a few moments before we begin the regular meeting.